All right. Hope you can see me well. And
Yes, everything is seen, all good.
for those who maybe have some knowledge already in layout, I would like to show how you can improve your workflow, how to make it easier to work inside of layout. And for those who haven't touched it at all, it's going to be a ability to see at least what can layout do. And first off, I'm going to show how to customize the overall workspace and layout so it's easier to manage different pages, layouts, and different assets, and how to, I'd say, for every program, it's easiest way how to work productively is when you set up good templates, good object libraries. And it's the same as for layout. Look at ways how you can do it to automate your work a bit more, and how to extend that using things like Autodesk, how to improve connectivity between different kind of programs, both SketchUp or AutoCAD or even Excel, and what are some of the new features that allow you to better work inside the new version of layout. Uh, First off, I've opened up layout, how it usually looks when you first launch it. And talking about the UI, in Windows version, you have the same as in SketchUp, default tray and some icons. But this layout, I'd say it's not the easiest when you start to work with multiple page documents, when you have to manage all these objects that are inside of your page. So first off, I'm just gonna launch a new document, and I'm gonna deal with this default array. So the main dialogues I usually use to manage objects is pages and layers, and it's very inconvenient to keep opening them up all this time between all others. So I'm turning them off and going to window and new tray, I'm able to create a new one. Say, I'm going to call it organization, and simply check layers and then pages. First off, it appears here at the bottom, but I can drag it out. And I'm going to glue it to the left side of the screen. So now at least I can easily see pages and layers. I usually extend this layers section only so far to see all the layers I have actually created. So that's the first thing. The second thing is in this default main toolbar, all the icons provide simple access to basic drafting tools, but nothing else. When you start to work with a lot of amount of text, for instance, or you have to align objects, it's quite inconvenient to, again, keep opening up these sections or pressing on the context menu to open up these tools. So I'm going to create 2 or 3 toolbars. First off, pressing on this section, opening up customize, and first thing I usually change is when going to this options, I'm going to turn off large icons in toolbars, and instantly they now are about half the size as they were before, and I'll be able to fit different tools. Next up, in this toolbar section, what I usually do is create new toolbar first, for instance, for text management. So I'm going to call it text. It At this moment, it just appears as this very, very short line. But when going to commands, I can see there's a section called text. I can see all the commands that are connected with text. And I'm going to simply choose text alignment options. We move it here. Say left, center, right. Top, center, bottom. And as an extra, I'm going to insert this insert auto text. So it's going to be easier to add these special objects. So that's the text toolbar. And the next one is for object alignment. I'm going to create a new one, call it align. And when I see it again, it's as a very short line. And in commands, in these arrange align, so I'm choosing left, right, top, bottom alignments, as well as vertically and horizontally. As an extra, I could add, for instance, spacing options horizontally and vertically. All right. And that's it for now. So in your own workflow, if you see that there are some tools that you have problems accessing, so always just find them through commands, and you can even add them to some this main existing uh, toolbar as well. Also, if you want to remove some of these icons, you can do that also. For instance, I don't want to have this create a new page icon. I can simply remove it. I'm going to have more room for other tools. So that's that. I'm going to place this toolbar, and already it seems the layout looks quite a bit different. Change the view a bit. I don't need these toolbars to be so large. And similar to SketchUp, I can simply close this all layout to save these toolbar locations. And the next time I open layout up, I should be able to see everything set up as I have in this initial file. All right. So that's about the setup. Next, about templates and scrapbooks. If I go to recent files, you're going to simply open up this file, and this should be available for you guys as well. I don't know if it's already translated in Lithuanian language, but it's an evacuation plan I created for everyone to, if you sometimes need to create these kinds of things. So you already have a layout document to do this. And inside this document, as it, at least in Latvian standards, you need to have everything in both Latvian, English, and Russian. And the first thing to for it to be easier to find these kinds of templates when you start up your SketchUp, I mean layout, I can save any layout file as a template. So go into section called File. First thing, I'm going to save it as a template. I can choose in which of the welcome to layout folders I'm going to save my file. So in my templates, this is going to hold all the custom ones. And for instance, if I only wanted to have some extra special proportions for paper or storyboards or title blocks, I could save it in one of these as well. So I'm going to choose simply my templates, call it evacuation plan. Okay. And next time, if I could close this document, open it up from Welcome to SketchUp to Layout window, and in this More Templates section, now I'll see a new one called My Templates. And here I see one I had saved in one of our trainings, and as well the new evacuation plan. So I can start from that, and I don't need to worry that I might have lost it somewhere in my documents or somewhere else. So that's about templates, how to quickly start your project, right? And the templates are a good way to start because already see all the layers that have been set up in this document as well. Well, it has only one page, but it might have already some special pages with all the necessary information that you need in any drafting. And another important part is these object libraries. In layout, everything is organized in scrapbooks. So if I open dialog called scrapbooks, at first you should see just different. Say, if I choose arrows, I would see one document. It's simply a layout file. And in each of the pages, there's different kinds of these arrows, right? For instance, I select crazy ones, then I could simply drag it out and use it in my document. And all these objects, they're easily editable, and they might be just simple vector graphics files that are drawn inside of layout. They can also be SketchUp models. So if you have some, for instance, a good example I'd say is there's a guy in Latvia who's drawing these instructions for IKEA, how to create your furniture inside of layouts proficiently using these templates and scrapbooks. So, and to do that, how to save your scrapbook, you have to always start with some file. I'm going to open up a scrapbook I have already saved. I'm going to press edit to go inside of it. So it's a simple layout document, and inside it there's two pages. Page one is the overall plan. I have grouped the information. I have grouped the legend, and as separate objects, I have these text objects and a simple example of how I could set everything up. And the second page of this layout document, there's a page called symbol. So everything I would need for the legend. And here, nothing is grouped. Everything is easily accessible. For instance, if I press on an arrow, the stairs, some of the symbols in this legend, you can see they're easily accessible. So what I had done, I saved this document with two pages as a scrapbook. And once you do that, in any new document you work with, you'll be able to see the scrapbook you created, and under it, there's these two pages, right? The full document and the symbols themselves. So it's important to separate these kinds of elements because, for instance, in a completely new file, I wanted to add the symbols in the plan. If you have them saved as an ungrouped object, I can simply press, for instance, on this symbol and drag it inside of my plan. And the same for different elements. I could choose one of these arrows, bring it inside of my layout document. I could copy the style from this arrow, and if I draw a new one, it's gonna appear the same, right? As I had saved it in this plan. And for instance, it's easy to draw up all the arrows that I needed in this evacuation plan. I see the style is a bit different, but that's a way you can at least save every element you would usually use in a drafting. Because why it's important, say, if you work with AutoCAD, you know you can save different kind of line styles, text styles, dimension styles. In layout, you don't have this option, so you need to extensively use scrapbook. So for instance, if I have dimensions or some tables saved in these, I can simply choose one from a scrapbook, insert it in my drafting, and copy the style from it with this style tool. And it's quite easy to edit them as well. Maybe I'm going to start from a new one, say a new document from, all right. And for instance, I'm just simply draw a rectangle. I'm going to draw a dimension and set it up in a style that I like. For instance, I'm going to choose millimeters. I'm going to turn off the millimeter sign. And I'm going to change the style from shape style to lighter and to have, for instance, these dashes on the sides. So this is a style I would like to use. And I'm simply going to save this document as a scrapbook. Say dimensions. Okay. And now if I go to any other drafting, I can find this new scrapbook called Dimensions. It only has one page, so there's no arrow that shows the other ones. And inside of it, I'm going to close maybe this one. I can choose this dimension, press on it, bring it in, and copy this style. And start adding dimensions to the plan, for instance. I have everything in this dark style, but you get the idea. So great, good scrapbooks. One thing to note is if you need to edit these, you can simply press edit. For instance, I'm going to add any other new element to it. And simply pressing save is going to automatically save it in this scrapbook. And I can close it later on when I don't need it anymore. Okay, and so that's about templates and scrapbooks. Another important thing that allows me to choose this template, for instance, and adjust it to a new plan is auto text feature. For instance, the text I have in this, so it's first floor evacuation plan. If I wanted to create the next plan in the same document, but for the next floor, I could simply duplicate this existing page inside of layout. What I see what is different is that this one's called the first pirmā stāva evakuācijas plan. So this one is called page 2. So what happened here? If I try to edit the text, what you'll see, I've added auto text. I'm gonna maybe change the position for a moment. So for auto text, I can simply use my new included icon, insert auto text, and you'll see a short list of tags that you can add in your document. these are existing ones that layout allows you to choose that simplifies showing page number, page name, and these kinds of things. So this tag page name simply allows me to show the page. I can do it in another way as well. For instance, if I add simply wrote page, it's weird why it's not appearing, but okay. I can change the color for a moment. Right. You can also, for instance, write page and after that add auto text page number. And now it's called just page 2. So you can do that as well. But for these kinds of plans, I could simply write in. So if this one was first pirmā stāva evokācijas plāns, so the second one is going to be otrā stāva evokācijas plāns. So the text automatically changes depending on the name of the page. What else is added as an auto text? The address. I've used it in many places in this template. Here, as well inside of the text blocks. So I can say it repeats. We can tell us year 26. If I try to edit text, I can see simply in these tags, the address is added. So to edit and create these kinds of tags, you can simply go to section called File and Document Setup. And the first section is so-called auto text. So simply pressing on this address tag, I see there's an empty field. I can change the address as I please. Okay. When I close, it's changed again. So it's very convenient if this information repeats itself in, I don't know, 10 places in a document with a lot of text and descriptions. So, this technique is often used to both show the address of, for say, for the customer as well. You can use a company and also tags like date, for instance.
Да не
If I
тікає пов'язку.
say, I could,
Магнит, да, так?
I'm going to simply add this current date. Right now, I say it's set as May 14th, 2024. If I want to change the style a bit, I can see that for current date, it's this format. I can simply write in dd point mm point for Ys, and now it looks a bit more proper. So, and if I need to create something new, I can simply say add new tag, custom text. I could call it, for instance, info. And this info could actually be even a whole paragraph of text. So, for instance, I'm gonna just copy a bit more information here. All right. So, and even for future use, if I start editing text, simply writing this tag and info. Yeah, it's going to add everything else. So that's an interesting way how to automate things. So for a next topic about references, how we can add things efficiently to your document. Change the view again. And first off, I'm gonna go to SketchUp. So it's a file we use in our basic trainings, showing ways how you can efficiently communicate with layout and also send information about objects, about their count, about their price to layout. So the model is set up as there's a one group, and then inside of it, there's all the furniture objects. And for each of those, from entity info, information about object price, size, and color is added. And from this, what's done is using generate report. I have saved up. So now it hung up somehow. Maybe you need to save the file again. Okay. Generate report. When editing it, I can see all these attributes I have added to the list. And when running this generate report, I can see all the information. So there are two things I would like to add to layout, both the SketchUp file and also this information. One option is always to do this, sending it to Word, sending it to Excel, but layout allows you this extra freedom to work with some vector objects as well, or even it's easier to work with images and these kinds of things. So first off, I'm going to download this specification. All right. It's saved as a CSV file. I've saved the model, and pressing on send to layout would allow me to open it up, choose a template file where I'm going to bring it inside of. I'm going to choose a simple page, A4, for instance. All right. So I have my SketchUp model, and I want the list as well. I can simply create a new table. The count of the columns and rows doesn't matter. What matters at the start is what's the size of them. I'm just gonna make it a bit wider, so like this. And to bring all this information from this CSV or Excel file, I can simply go inside one of the cells, and by pressing insert table data at A1, I can choose the CSV, TSV, or Excel file. I'm going to choose this data, open it up, and all the cells are automatically populated with the information. I see there wasn't enough room for everything, so I changed the size a bit. All right. And now I can simply format this table to look a bit better. So for instance, align this text. I'm going to choose a first row and change the color and text style. So great, I have this first table. And the same as for dimensions. If you like this style, then I can save it inside of my scrapbook already. For instance, I'm gonna just copy it, go to scrapbooks, edit this scrapbook, and I'm gonna add a table to it. Save it. And now if I would like to use this style again in a different document, I can simply bring it inside like this. So I brought this information inside of layout. What happens if there are changes? So you don't have to insert the model again, send it to layout and rewrite the data. You can simply use update feature for models or this information. For instance, I've talked with my clients. They say everything is too expensive. I need less chairs. I'm simply gonna remove them. I'm gonna save the document, and when going back to layout, I don't instantly see this change. What I can do is either press on update model reference from the context menu, or I could go to file and document setup. I could see these references from this section. I see this is out of date, so I can simply update it. And in a moment, I should be able to see the version without the chairs. And the last thing about this table, I can go to back to the SketchUp model and generate report again. Run. I can see there's less of these pillows and chairs. So I'm going to download and rewrite on top of the existing file. All right. Now I don't want to open it. And the same thing back to layout for this table. If I go to document setup, I see that this table is out of date. I can simply update it, and I can see the new data, and the formatting has remained the same. Also, to choose some specific data from larger Excel file, maybe it has different tables already inside of it on different pages. So what you can simply do is if you press on a table, there's an option to see CSV reference options, and here you can set what are the coordinates. So from which page and which coordinates from this Excel file you're picking this data out of. Maybe you can exclude something, for instance, only to E8, and instantly I see everything has changed. And last thing about updating I can say is if you simply launch a layout file, at that moment you always see an automatic update for the whole document. So layout is going to check all the references you have. Either it's SketchUp files, images, Excel files, or AutoCAD files. So everything is going to be checked, automatically updated. And if you have some issues of missing files, you can simply relink them or unlink them if you don't want to see these checks all the time. And I guess the last thing I wanted to say for this data to find, for instance, the SketchUp file, I don't have to necessarily have it open. That's a good feature is I can open it through layout as well by simply pressing on right click and open with SketchUp. It should automatically open with your active SketchUp. version, I could simply delete something, save it, and when jumping back inside of layout, the model reference updates automatically. And for the last thing, a simple note that if you have worked with older versions of layouts, to get the best and most precise draftings, for instance, you always had to choose, say, vector or hybrid visualization styles. In the newest version of SketchUp 2024, the quality of the raster style in this new engine, for instance, if I go to documents and rendering, if you set everything to maximum, I'd say the quality is so high that there's no need to even change it to these vector styles. The lines look nice and crisp, and it saves a lot of power for layout. It's you don't have to convert all the time to these vector styles that take a lot of time to process for the graphics card. So hope these tips are gonna be useful for you to automate your work a bit more. And let me see where there's some quick questions I can answer. Can they be translated? Marius?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, there was one question if or you can use the views from SketchUp and save them in the scrapbook. And then Imantas, basically just responded that, that's easy. Okay. And then another question is, scale kaip auto text. Is it possible to make the scale as auto text? Well, design scale as auto text.
For scale and viewport names, you have to use this label tool. For instance, if I want to show at what scale this model is, so in viewport, I don't have it set in special scale, for instance, but I'm going to change it in this model. Turn off perspective. I'm going to turn on top view. I'm going to change it to scale, for instance, 1 to 100. And now if I edit this text, I can see there's the viewport scale. All right. And now it shows up properly, even if I change it. To lose this arrow, I can simply change this. I'm going to turn off stroke. Oh, okay. I think the trick was to make it white, or was it? Okay. And transparent. So yeah, now I have it. So it's if it's transparent, now I can show the scale or the name of the viewport that I have in SketchUp. So that's a nice trick.
Okay, yeah, so it's possible. Okay.
All right.
So no more questions. Okay, thank you, Carlos, for your time and your expertise. And your message this in English like webinar, then we will then share with everybody else.
All right. Thank you.
That's it.
Goodbye, Evelyn.
So, persijungsiu į lietuvių kalbą vėl.